Hey everyone, Ryan Young, KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu. Hope you're doing well. Well, we're already in the fall now here in Texas, and it's actually very nice. Ain't so hot like it usually is. So I figure I'd get back to walking again. I think last time I did, it was the end of spring, beginning of summer, so it was still kind of cool here. Many of you remember I was still wearing a jacket then, but let's kind of get started. Umer Sheikh, one of our YouTube subscribers. Hey Professor Ryan, can you please make a video on how to convince your friends and peers on why they should start training Jiu-Jitsu? Thanks. Thanks for the topic. All right, let's kind of get started here. So here's the thing. As much as I would like it to be, Jiu-Jitsu is not for everyone. But have I convinced friends to train? Absolutely. And will I still try to convince friends to train? Absolutely. But here's the thing. Jiu-Jitsu really, it's hard because, I'll give you an example. To me, the best people, or the people that should, but you know, should's a bad word, I don't like to use the word should, but really the people that should be doing Jiu-Jitsu are women, right? Because, you know, this is how you can work to even the score. Or even the playing field when you have a victim versus an aggressor. And women would benefit from it the most because, to me at least, they're more usually walking victims versus men. You know, men that are cowards, that are going to attack someone, they're more likely to attack a woman than another man. That's just a simple fact of life. So if more women were to do Jiu-Jitsu, then they would be prepared. Now, of course, we're talking self-defense Jiu-Jitsu. Many of you who've seen my videos kind of know that should be gone without saying, but I just got to say it anyway because many of you are new. And thanks for watching, by the way. But what I'll do is I'll tell them, look, you know, people ask me, hey Ryan, what do you do? I'm in financial sales, but for fun, I teach Jiu-Jitsu. Oh, really? What is that? So I tell them what it is. You know, to me, it's one of the, if not the most effective form of self-defense that somebody can engage in. Why don't you come and try it? Oh yeah, I kind of don't want to. You know, and then from there, I don't usually push because I don't really want them to come if they don't want to come. But the people who are intrigued, or the people who meet me, they talk to me, or they see me, oftentimes I'm out with students, grabbing coffee, grabbing lunch, grabbing dinner, whatever. And they meet us and they kind of like the vibe that we have, and that's how they kind of want to end up joining up with us, because they like the people. And really that's kind of the way to do it. But if it's an activity that somebody really should do, it doesn't really work that way, unfortunately. I wish it did, Umer. So how do you convince your friends? You know, I guess part of it is you just kind of want them to spend more time with you. You know, the more time they hang out with you, then they're going to want to go, hey, what are you doing today? Oh, I'm going to go Jiu-Jitsu. You know, you keep mentioning that Jiu-Jitsu, you know, what's that all about? You tell them, why don't you come join me? And when they do, then that might be a way for them to go, oh, okay, well, now I see what Umer does, and let me keep doing it because this is actually really fun. Or they might go, you know what, this is something that Umer does, but when he does it, I'll leave him be, and I'll go do something else. But the thing is, once you try Jiu-Jitsu, you need to have a good experience, which a lot of people don't, unfortunately, because what they'll do is they'll just treat the school as like a Shark Tank, and they'll just throw you in it and just have you start sparring with people. When, you know, sparring is like, what the hell, I'm brand new. I don't know how to spar, right? But yet, people will do that to prospects who are just kind of trying it out. So that will appeal to a very small percentage of the population. People who go, ooh, that's badass, let me keep doing it. But if it's a woman, for instance, it's hard because if a woman has been victimized, then you have to be extra delicate in teaching them, because you got to know, first of all, how they were victimized, and they have to kind of psychologically be ready to move on from it. If they're not, then no matter what you do, they're not going to come in. You can speak to them logically and they'll, yeah, I get it, but they still won't come. Now, as far as guys, you don't have to be tough to do jiu-jitsu. Now, people who are tough, as we say, do have an inherent advantage. Basically, they have a head start. But somebody who is not tough to begin with doesn't mean they're not going to be tough as they continue on, right? I have students that were not tough when they walked in, but are damn sure tough people now. But it's kind of a mindset that you have to develop in them over time. But they're often people that are the best ambassadors to jiu-jitsu, because they could come out and say, hey, look, when I started, I was this, I was this, I was this, I was afraid of this. And the people who see them today see that they're different people. They're confident. They walk with an air of confidence, right? Simple as that. And they carry themselves that way. They speak that way. And that's why we get to that whole thing about, can an average person earn a jiu-jitsu black belt? The answer is no, because people who earn black belts are typically not average people. But that's not to say they didn't start off as the average person. So when you're trying to get somebody to explore this art, they have to see the benefit of what you gained by being part of the art. You know, it could be where they might have known you 10 years ago. And now here you are 10 years later, you've been training for 10 years. The last time they saw you, you were a meek and mild person. You know, not a very strong, confident type of person. And now here you are 10 years later, and you walk around with a different air about you. You're in better shape. And here you are 10 years later, like, dude, you haven't aged at all, have you? You look great, right? And look at you, you know, you just, there's something about you. What do? I just do jiu-jitsu. And that would be a good way to introduce them to jiu-jitsu. Now, you can't get somebody to do something that they're not inclined to do. So what you have to do is you have to build that inclination for them to want to try jiu-jitsu. And once you do that, then they're more likely to try it. But once they try it, you have to nurture them. You have to, you know, make sure they don't get injured right off the bat. You have to make sure that they're not overpowered to a point where they're, you know, about ready to cry, for lack of a better term. You know, they may not physically cry, but, you know, they may get an anxiety attack, or, you know, they may, whatever. It's just not a good thing. So you need to just build people up. You can't just tell them you need to be strong. It doesn't work that way. You need to build them up that way. So with regard to your friends, Zoomer, consider this. Talk to them. You know, let them see how confident you are, how strong you are, and, you know, how you've changed over the years. And when they ask you, just say, yeah, it's because of jiu-jitsu. And then that will make them consider, maybe I want to do like that too. Because, you know, there's a common technique that, you know, if there's something that you want to be better at, you model somebody who does what you want to do in life, right? If you want to be, you know, if you want to play a sport better, you know, whatever sport that may be. You want to be a better football player, you know, whatever position you want to play. You know, find a person like that. You know, there are wrestling clinics around here, for instance, right? You want to go to a John Smith wrestling clinic. Why? Because you want to learn how to do low singles like the way he did. Or you want to get the mindset of a two-time Olympic gold medalist. Then, you know, go seek him out, right? Or go find somebody who was a student of his, who trained under him, to try to get that mindset. So when you put your new image out to your friends or people you think should train jiu-jitsu, they're going to want to model you. They're going to want to be like you, or, you know, do whatever activity you did that made you become the better you that you are today. I hope that helped. Anyway, for those of you who would like to better yourself, we'd love to have you come out and visit us at one of our studios. We've got one in Flower Mound, Texas. We've got Irvine, California. and we've got Austin, Texas. So come out and see us whenever you're in town. And you can also come and see us online at KAATARO.online.com. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Take care. Happy training. Bye now.